Yes. And what now? I know we hopped off the game, but what now for LSU? Because you see the two losses on their schedule, and I get it. One was to USC, but only one's in conference, so they could theoretically play their way back into the SEC championship. But I mean, it was just so you looked at it and you're like, what happened to Garrett Nussmeier? They were playing so well. So as we sit here this morning, what now for Brian Kelly and LSU?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same old story for them like last year. I mean, you count the number of points they threw away in the first half. It reminded a little bit like the SC game as well at the beginning of the year. They missed two field goals that were makeable. They couldn't score touchdowns in the red zone, and finally their defense broke. And ultimately, I mean, I was so high on them against Alabama, but Matt, I kind of feel all the wind shifting back toward Alabama right now.
Yeah, and look, Alabama still has work to do. I don't think the Alabama that shows up in the first half against a team like LSU gets it done. It was again credit Mike Elko for the coaching switch and the energy, the defense for getting after Garrett Nussmeier. But I mean, really, and that's kind of my story, and we'll button that up with this, Paul. Let's look at the SEC as a whole. What was the biggest thing that you took away from October in the SEC as we head to the final month of the season?
Well, I mean, I'll finish Alabama. They survived. And I mean, nobody got more attention than Alabama. What was really interesting, Matt, hearing the noise from behind a microphone all week and being there for 24 hours, it just didn't seem as bad.
Really?
Everybody was still fairly confident. I had an interview with the athletic director, Greg Byrne, on Friday, and I realized some of this is for show. I mean, we are sitting in front of cameras, but I didn't detect a panic situation. The fans were on the brink, but they were holding on because they are Alabama after all, and that carries them a long way. But so I think they dodged it. I'm not about to start speculating on that game against LSU in 2 weeks, but I think that was it. Texas, was kind of who we thought we were. I guess Georgia, and I'm going to start there because I they looked unbeatable, even playing terribly at times against Texas. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of back to where we all began, thinking Georgia's the best team. And how many we switched about 3 or 4 times now in the SEC.
Oh, yeah. We've gone from Georgia. We went to Texas for a while, Alabama after they beat Georgia. I mean, it's been a wild month in that league, but I kind of agree with you that as we set to play the first weekend in November, it's like, all right, well, Georgia's still the class. Alabama can still get you. Texas is still right there, and there's still a lot of football left to play. And even Ole Miss isn't out of it after getting their win against Oklahoma yesterday. 3 consecutive losses for Oklahoma. Brent Venables, double digits. I mean, that's probably not the best situation going right now, but it'll be interesting to see how they handle the rest of the season, Paul.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I came away with as well is how underwhelming Oklahoma has been. And they still have Alabama at the end of the season. They have LSU, so their record. They better take a picture of it. It's not going to look this good when it's all over. I mean, there's so many other stories. But I mean, and I'm not going to waste the audience's time with how underwhelming. So, but probably if you ask me, like, what's the weirdest game of the year?
Yeah.
It's probably Kentucky going to Oxford and winning
Oh
against
God.
what I thought was a playoff team, and Kentucky can't beat anyone now.
Isn't that like we were sitting there last night? It's like because for a while, Paul, we were saying like, oh well, which Kentucky team is it? Is it the one that got blown out by South Carolina? Is it the one that played Georgia till the very end? Is it the one that beat Ole Miss? And now that thing's just kind of gone. I mean, south of sideways.
Yeah, and listen, Mark Stoops has got a really good resume, but you wonder if he, after he started putting his coaching staff together to button up the story from 10 minutes ago at midnight, and then found out he wasn't going to be the A&M coach, did he ever recover from that moment?
I might hurt you.